everybody, I'm Trezilla. Welcome to the video. Today I want to start a new series. We're going to call it Beyond Pinterest. I'm going to take projects that I find online and try them here on the channel. Will it be better than the thing I found online? Maybe not, but it'll be beyond anything I've ever tried before. So let's get started. Today I thought we'd try this, painting on glass to make cel-shaded art. I'm a pretty graphic, cartoony artist myself, so this fits right into what I do. We're gonna start with my friend Zizzle here. I drew a cute picture of him on my iPad and then printed it flipped so we can use it as a guide. First thing we're gonna do is tape the guide to our glass. And then we'll take a Sharpie and go over all of the outlines. I did a little research before starting this video and found out there are two different ways to do this. You can either paint on the same side as your lines for a flat image, or on the opposite side of your lines for a more shadow box effect. For Zizzle, we're going to be using the first method. Next is adding all the shadow and highlights before anything else. It's easier to be precise with these areas than trying to leave space with the main colors. It's the opposite of working on canvas. This project was all in acrylic, and I did make a few mistakes as we went along. But with a clean brush, while the paint is still wet, you can clean it up pretty easily. I picked Zizzle because of his simple design. I made him about 6 years ago, and he's my little Godzilla mascot. Fun facts about Zizzle: he's only about the size of a squirrel. His pencil isn't a huge pencil, he's just tiny. He also has some weakness in his tongue, so it's hard for him to keep it in his mouth all the time. That's why you see his tongue hanging out of his mouth in most pictures. After all the highlights and shading, we can finally move on to main colors. I gave every main color a few coats. It was really to build opacity through the glass. Unlike canvas or paper, there's nothing to use as a base. On paper, you have white, but on glass, it's see-through, so you have to build up everything with paint. To sharpen his pencil, Zizzle just chews on the end. I think it's a really cute concept. The final stretch, we can paint his body and the rest of his pencil. It's really satisfying to fill these bigger areas with paint after painting in such small, delicate spots. For the background, I picked up some glitter paper. It makes the painting stand out with the contrasting texture. we can cut that out and put everything back together. Let's see how we did. If the tape wants to let go. There. Oh, he's so cute! I love it! Let's put him together. And there you have it! Zizzle! He looks so cute with his pencil. What a great addition for my desk. Now here's what you all clicked on the video for, the Among Us painting. For this, I'm going to use the other outline method we talked about, doing the outlines on the opposite side of the glass that you're painting on. That way we get more of a shadow box effect. I had a hard time seeing clearly after the first round of line work, so I took the guide off and did touch-ups freehand. For those who play Among Us, I'm sure you recognize the title card. I simplified it just a little bit to make it easier to paint. I printed a flipped guide for us to follow while painting. I started by shading the red crewmate, but switched to doing their helmets before continuing since they all have the same shades of blue-gray, and it was easier to do in a batch. Picking this thing up for better angles made my heart drop. I was so nervous I was going to mess up the guide and have a hard time. I was a little impatient with this painting. Instead of doing multiple layers like I did with Zizzle, I globbed paint on to try and create thicker layers at once. This comes back to bite me, and I would recommend patience and layering. But even so, once the bottom layers are dry, you don't have to be obnoxiously careful and can paint over what's already painted without much worry. I painted the crewmates in an alternating pattern so they could dry and I'd be less likely to smudge them as I painted the next one. I decided before I started painting this one that I wanted to be able to use paint right out of the bottles for the base colors. So I only mixed the shadows. But even so, I spent so long trying to get them just right. I had to do it all off camera. I was very particular about it. Now we can get started on the base colors, and we'll start with red. This is where my impatience catches up with me. I should have done this in layers, but instead I globbed all the paint on at once. And this is what happened. The wet paint pulled up the dry paint and leaked underneath. I'm pretty pissed, but I'm not the type to give up on a painting, so continue on we shall. But it's okay to make mistakes sometimes. Learning from mistakes, whether in art or in life, is how you learn to go beyond, and do even better next time. I learned a lot from this project. I've painted lots of different things, but never glass before, and it was new and interesting, and I enjoyed it. Also, with all the colored crewmates, I got kind of a rainbow out of it, and that's neat. And this is where the editing noob is very obvious. I filmed this part around sunset, and I don't know how to color correct it. If anyone uses HitFilm Express and could help, I'd appreciate it. And all the other colors are done in layers, so we don't have to repeat what happened to red. A little more glitter paper looks like stars in the background, and we can put everything together and see how we did. There they are! They look great! I think they came out really good for this being the first time trying this kind of project. Zizzle is super cute and the crewmates look awesome. That was so much fun! I'm so excited to have Zizzle on my desk. But what to do with the Among Us painting? I know! Why don't I give it to one of you? I know it's not perfect, but that's what makes it special, right? All we need to do is get this video to 100 likes. If you want to be part of that giveaway, write Beyond in the comments and leave a like. But no matter what, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. If you want to check me out on my other socials, they're down in the description box below. If you have suggestions for other Pinterest projects you want to see me do, leave them in the comments. Thank you for going beyond with me, and I'll see you next time.